corduroy. Oh my goodness. Please let me know in the comments if you remember this book growing up. I love this book. And if I ever write a children's book, my characters will look like this. Representation is a big deal. If you then into germs. She wants to know where they come from. Why are germs a part of the world? What do germs do? Like all the things about germs. And so, hello beautiful people. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 25 different books. As you can see, this is one. 25 different books that I use to teach my children in our homeschooling program. I am currently creating a program or a curriculum as we go. I use different things from here, different things from there to pull in to make a very inclusive, if you will, curriculum for my children, because I know that one day they're going to fly off and be great into the world. And so because that is my hope for them, I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 ways that I use books in my homeschooling curriculum. I am so excited to share these with you. These first books that I'm going to share with you are going to bring the nostalgia, okay? Trust me on this one. It's going to bring the nostalgia. If you are about like 20 to about 40 something years old, then you're like, oh my goodness, I read those books growing up. So let's jump into my first set of books. These books are the classics. These books I have used to teach my children ABCs, like to introduce them to the alphabet, to introduce them to words, to expand their vocabulary, just the fun books. And I think classics are classics for a reason. So let's jump into these books. The first book, as you can see, is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. If you grew up if you are a millennial, then you probably read this book. This book is about the ABCs. I'm not going to do this for all the books, but this book particularly is one of the books that I use to introduce my son and my daughter to the alphabet. It is such a fun book. It's so funny to me because my interpretation of this book and my children's interpretation of this book is not the same. And I just thought that was so great, because it's like growing up in the age that I did, they're growing up in the age of like the internet. They don't know what life is without the internet. So to introduce them to this when they already have heard the ABC song, when they've already seen like the Coco Melon and all of the StoryBots story about ABCs, it's almost as if this book was a little bit different for them. And so I really enjoyed that about this. And I love the fact that we can go back to the tried and true things that we use and our parents use to teach us. And I say we, as in our parents used to teach us the ABCs, our teachers used to teach us and introduce us to the ABCs. So that is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. The next book, I got this book for my daughter when she was a little girl. It is Guess How Much I Love You. It is such a little fun book. And it really is something that I think every child should have, particularly because we want to express our love. And what better way besides our words and our actions than to have a book that can express something? I think this to me is like a love letter to your children. So this is book number 2. This next book, I remember asking my mom to get me a corduroy jumper like corduroy. Oh my goodness. Please let me know in the comments if you remember this book growing up. I love this book. And we also have, I think the other book is called Corduroy's Pocket, because he ends up getting a pocket like sewn onto his overalls. Oh my goodness. Corduroy is a beautiful, beautiful classic. This next book used to be scary to me growing up. Honestly, in all honesty, I used to be afraid of this book until I got a little bit older and realized that this monster thingamajig was just adventuring. And it is Where the Wild Things Are. If you can see, my children have gotten a hold to it, but that's okay. This book is well loved on. Where the Wild Things Are is one of my favorite classics because it teaches about adventure. This next book, I think if you're an adult, listen, you need to reread this book. Why? Because this book I was like, why is this book written for kids? However, I did introduce my son and my daughter to this book. And then after they took in the information that was being shared in it, they didn't really have any questions. But I feel like if we keep reading it as they get older, they may ask me questions about this book. And that book is The Paperbag Princess. Oh my goodness. This is a message for adults. I don't know that this was a book written for children, but it is a children's book. And I introduced it to my children, so we know about this book in my household now. I think you should still read it. It's a classic. This next book, I truly enjoyed. And as you can read the title, you can understand what we were learning from this book. Alexander and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. This book, if I'm honest with you, it is a classic, but I used it so more so than to teach my children about adjectives, because if you think about it, like how you describe things, it also can be used in conjunction with like filling words and how we go through things. So this is the other classic. I have two more classics to share with you. If you've been over here, then you know that this book was coming. Llama Red Pajama. One of my favorite series of books. I'm going to show you the back of the book because there are more books in this series. Llama Red Pajama is fun. It's funny. It rhymes. We truly enjoy reading Llama Red Pajama. Okay, so these next set of books that I'm going to share with you are books that sharpen my children's interest. So when I see that my children are interested in something, then we go to the library and we grab books on those subjects. So my son is into dinosaurs, so we pick up a lot of dinosaur books, and this is the Step Into Reading by the StoryBots. We already use StoryBots in our curriculum. I let them watch StoryBots, and so they were already familiar with the characters, so this was a great way to just make our curriculum process seamless for me. And so it was like very easy to just introduce these books to them. Ever since COVID, my daughter has been into germs. She wants to know where they come from. Why are germs a part of the world? What do germs do? Like all the things about germs. And so this is one of her books that she really likes. I don't have all the answers. And that is also why I use books, because she wants to know stuff that I don't know. I don't know why germs are here. I don't know. So we get books like this. So this next book that we are going to talk about is Spooky Tree. My son is an October baby. He is into all things spooky. So this book is, funny story. I was reading this to my son and I did not know he had already read it, or that he already had introduced himself to the book, y'all. As we were reading this, there's a part in the story where they're asking the reader, do you think they'll dare do this thing? And he was like, absolutely, Mom. Yes. Not knowing he had already read the story, y'all. This next book, my children are into cooking, probably because they watch their mom cook a lot. They watch their dad cook a lot. And so this book is very fun for them, particularly too. We take this book in the car. This is a library book. When we take this book in the car on car rides, because the recipes are very funny. They're not your typical, the book Green Eggs and Ham is already letting you know what this book is about. So this is a recipe book, really fun, really cool. My kids have a good time. We have not made any of the recipes yet, and I don't know that we will, because they're not your typical recipes, and I'm not into wasting food, okay? And some of this stuff I would never eat, never. So this book is Eat Your Superpowers. Great book for kids to help them to, my daughter really is into foods and finding out what food she needs to eat. In case you do not know and you are not familiar with the disease my daughter lives with, she lives with sickle cell. And so we are always looking into better ways to fuel her body, more healthier ways and more clean ways to get her the nutrients that she needs. And so this was one of those things for her. The funny thing about this book is that I feed my children a lot of oatmeal. And because they eat oatmeal, this book taught them, I'm going to show y'all the page. This book taught them that oatmeal actually makes you poop. It is a fun book. It's fun. And now I almost feel like they caught me, because it's a lot of fiber in oatmeal. I know what I'm doing, but for them to understand why they eat oatmeal, and not only because it's a good food for them in the morning times to fuel their bodies, but because it also makes them use the bathroom. And we need a good BM over here, okay? And this is another book that my daughter has found interest in. It is called A Bad Case of Stripes. My daughter loves this book. This is her favorite book. And I don't know how long this is going to be her favorite book, but as long as this is her favorite book, I will always read it to her. I will always get it at the library. And I'm probably going to I am going to buy this book for her personally. We got this from the library. This is probably like our third time checking out this book, but this is my daughter's favorite book. The last book I'm going to share with you, I'm actually going to share a clip of something that my children did with this book. Oh my goodness. This book, it holds a special place in my heart. It is a Minecraft lab for kids book. My children are into Minecraft. I already told y'all our screen time is sky high. However, we're getting that down. But while in the meantime, books like this really help me to come up with different activities for them to do. The reason there are so many tabs in this book is because we actually use this book. And the activity I'm going to share with you is one of the activities that they did from this book. Now, I love this book as a parent because I don't have to come up with all these creative ideas for my children to do. This book literally sets it up for you. It tells you what to do. It gives you an objective of the activity. It gives you what you need, like either go print this off, go cut this out, draw this, draw that. And it even gives them some tips and tricks to do on the actual Minecraft game. So all the way around, a win for me. This activity that you're watching right now are of my children playing with their puppets. I had a good time watching them. This is going to probably be something that I do over and over and over again, particularly because I want them to have more advanced puppets. And so we're probably going to do sock puppets as well, but they really had a good time. I had a good time watching them, listening to their stories that they're telling, and it's a good activity to get our screen time down. So at nighttime, instead of them, they usually get like 15 minutes of game time or more. However, let me be all the way transparent, or more, depending on what night it is, how tired I am, or if their dad is still at work. So we just have a good time over here. And one of the ways we have a good time is creating these puppets. One of the ways we have a good time is for me to listen to them at nighttime before bed, play with these puppets, and create all of these beautiful stories. And this is going to be a memory that goes down in our memory book. The next set of books I'm going to share with you is to help to introduce and teach my children that just because the life that they live is the life that they live, everybody's experiences are not that. And so these next set of books are books that help us to learn about others and others' experiences. This first book is The Smart Cookie. I love this book. My daughter actually picked this book out when we were in Target one day. This book really helps to shine the light that everybody doesn't learn the same and everybody has different gifts. And so this is one of my daughter's favorites, and it was my favorite because she picked it out. So this next book is a personal favorite because it is written by one of my friends. And this book is The Adventures of Asher and Rocket. This book talks about the NICU, which stands for, I wrote it down because I did not know how to say all of these words. Neonatal Intensive Care Unit is what NICU stands for. It's usually where children go when they are born before the actual 40 weeks, so they're considered premature. And her son spent some time in the NICU, and they wrote a story about it. And so if you are interested in something like that, if you want to introduce your children to that, I will put it in the description box so you can pick it up. I will share a little bit of the pages with you so that you can see the gorgeous illustrations that are in here. Look at that. Beautiful. The next book I'm going to share with you is Are You My Mother? This book, if you don't know this book from growing up, it's about a bird that is looking for its parent. And this book, for me, I introduced this to my daughter and my son to really just show them that sometimes people don't grow up with the same lifestyle that they have of a mom and a dad inside their household. But also, like, it brought up conversations. That's not what the book is about, but it brought up those conversations, and it gave me a segue to introduce my children that everybody's household doesn't look the same. And just because this person is a bird doesn't mean that his mom is a bird. The last book I want to share with you is special in my heart as well because it is also written by a friend, and it is Imori Wears Green. This book is about cerebral palsy. My McKenzie lives with, she is the main character, and her sister Imori is the, secondary character in this book, and her family. And it talks about her journey living with cerebral palsy. It introduces you to what cerebral palsy is and how it affects the body. And so if you are interested in learning about that or telling your children about different experiences of people with different abilities, then this is the book for you. I'm going to share one page with you so that you can see the beautiful illustrations. Look at these illustrations. Look at these illustrations. Oh my goodness. So this is McKenzie. This is Imori, her sister. And in this particular scene, she is helping her sister prepare for the day. And these are the braces in her shoes that she wears in her braces on her legs. But you need to get the book if you are interested in learning about this beautiful family, but also if you are interested in learning about what cerebral palsy is and how it is affecting the body. These next two books I'm going to share with you are books that I have used to help my children to challenge their thinking process, if you will. And I don't necessarily know if it's challenge, more so than I just want to introduce them to let them play in their mind and help them to shape the way that they want to think. The first book is called Dolls and Trucks Are for Everyone. Particularly, I got this book because there was a time period where my son was playing with baby dolls. And I'm not ashamed to say it because I knew that it was just a phase that he was in. I just had this mama knowing that knew that my son is not going to always do this, but this is what he's doing. And I will say this, me and his father, we never had a problem with it because we both don't think inside of society's, I guess, constrictions, if you will. We think that, hey, children are children. They're exploring, they're developing, and they're learning. I don't want to train my children to think a particular way as they are children, because then I put that on my children, and then when they grow up, they say, this is what it means to be a boy. This is what it means to be a girl. I am into exploring what you are as a boy, what you are as a girl, how you are as a boy, how you are as a girl. And it's just been a fun thing without all of the commentary of society. So this next book I really, really love, particularly because it is a book about like the old time tales, like of the rabbit and the turtle. If you remember that story growing up, rabbit is known to be fast. The turtle is known to be slow. However, in this story, if you remember it, the tortoise ends up winning. And so it reads as a really good thought process. It reads as something that helps you to start to think about, like, I didn't finish the story with my children whenever there's like 6 different stories in here or more. And as we went through each story, we would read a different story every night, and they would get to guess how the story would end or what the story meant. And so this was a thought exercise for their minds, if you will, and I truly, truly enjoy it. I even love this book even as an adult. I think it's a great way to introduce your children to thinking. So my last and final category is affirmations and experiences. So I use books as well to teach my children or help my children to understand the experiences that they're having, and also to help them to be affirmed in who they're becoming and who they are. So the first book I want to share with you is called The Going to Bed Book. If you are a parent of littles, then you understand that some of them do not like to go to bed. My children need to eat, they need to go to the bathroom, they want to make a sandwich, anything but to go to bed. But in this book really helped me to start to get them in the hygiene, if you will, of going to sleep, because it is a book about going to bed, and it gets them in the mindset that, hey, we are about to prepare for bed. This next book is called Bloom. It was a gift given to my daughter. If I ever write a children's book, my characters will look like this. I love this book because it really is about different styles. For me, when I look through it, it shows the different styles of hair. Look at these little girls. Oh my goodness. I used to get my hair done like this as a kid. When I was in elementary school, I did not like it. My stepmom did my hair like this, and I just was like, who and why? Now, as I got older, I was like, you were actually fly, and that was actually cute. Now, I would get compliments from other people, but you know how that works. If you don't really like what you rocking, you don't like it. No matter how many people tell you they like it. Look at these little girls' hair. Representation is a big deal. If you've been over here and I share my other haul of books that were about, children's books that you should read even as an adult, then in that video, I also talk about representation. Representation is a big deal. And that's a perfect segue into this next book. This next book is particularly about hair. I love this book, particularly because it helps me to teach my daughter about her hair. It helped me to show her that everyone, even when other people see her hair and it's different to them, that does not give them a right to touch it. And she ran into like this issue with somebody wanting to touch her hair, that she did not want to touch it. And so it was, listen, I'm going to find a book. Just like I know a song for everything, I got a book for everything. And so we found this book. This next book is something I got for my kids, well, for them as they got a little bit older, and it is called Love You, Hug You, Read to You. I really, if you cannot tell, want to pass down this love of reading and finding adventure and love and joy and all the things in books. I really am wanting to pass this down to my children. And so this was one of those books that was for me, however, for my children to pass down this love for reading. The very last book, I've already shared one of her books on my channel before. This book is to affirm to my children, particularly for my daughter. Like I said, we went through this whole hair phase, and it is called I Am Enough. I love this book, and like I said, even as an adult, this is a great book for me. It was a great reminder. So even when I got it for my daughter, I was able to read it for myself to help and remind myself that I am enough. And so this is my ask. If you would, please leave me a comment if you watched to this part of the video and put it in the comment section, just a book that you think that I can grab for my children to introduce them to in any of those categories that I have listed. I would really truly appreciate it. I will come back into the comment section. And too, if you are an author and you have written a book and you're like, I've written a children's book, I think you should read it to your children, or I've written a book, I think you should read it, Sierra, please put your book in the comment section, because I am on a book buying spree. I have somewhere that I'm gonna go this weekend. Maybe I'm gonna take y'all along with me. I don't know, because I don't really take my camera around. That's the end of the video, y'all. I'm just chatting now, but I don't really take my camera around, y'all. So I think I may step out of my comfort zone and take y'all to this book buying fest that I am having. My library is having a book fest, y'all. I am so excited about going to this book fest. So excited. It's gonna be a whole thing. Okay, so I don't know how many books y'all are gonna see. I've never done a book haul over here on my channel, but because it's from the library, I am excited to do one, particularly because I don't do book hauls. Like I have never done one. It's a whole thing, but I think I'm gonna do one because it is from the library and I am a library girl. So I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.